Very much like New Year's Eve, we try to make resolutions for this holy season of Lent. Sometimes we are very successful in keeping those promises for the 40 days, but sometimes we falter, just as we do with our New Year's promises. But this year, the world made it easy for us to observe Lent. It certainly made it easy for me. I had to make a choice between doers or pain medication. And because of my age, and if I heard that one more time from any health professional, I probably would have gotten out of bed, because they thought it would be a good time to test if I had diabetes. So no sugar, no sweets, no between meals. Lent was made easy for me because of that. But Lent was made easy for all of us this year because of what God has given to us and what He has called us to be as we go through these days of isolation and protection. Because these days, whether we wanted to or not, called us to more prayer than before. Prayer, not necessarily selfish for ourselves, that we stay healthy. Prayers for our family. Prayers for those who are on the front lines helping people heal and recover. Prayers for those who have lost loved ones, for their consolation and peace. They couldn't be at the side of their loved one as they took their last breath. Prayers for those who served us in so many ways, making themselves available to make our lives more tolerable. And certainly it was a time for sacrifice as we were called home. Restaurants, places of enjoyment being closed, all of that taken away from us. And we had to decide what we wanted to do with this holy Lenten season by staying home and being with our families. And of course, it called us to great charity. And the love that has been extended throughout this period has been astounding, because we all realize in times like this how much we need each other, how much God cares for us and asks us to care for one another. And so Lent came easy to us this year because of the prayer, the sacrifice, and the charity that were put before us. Certainly these are difficult and scary days for many. We have no idea how much longer this will go on, but we're encouraged to hold fast to that cross of Jesus Christ as we endure these days and trust in the promise of God's mercy to us. But this is also a wonderful opportunity. So many of our children have asked me why God is allowing this to happen. I don't know the mind of God, but I do know that He is giving us an opportunity in these days to reassess our lives, to look at our priorities, our morals, our values, to cherish what really is important in our lives, especially our marriages and our families, encouraging us to come back home again to what really is important in life. It is an opportunity, it is a grace, although for some, a great hardship. I guess we have to choose which path we would like to take, whether we use it for our growth in love and in faith and in hope, or we see it as a path to destruction and depression. I admire so much this community. I must say that because of this, you can actually pull out of this driveway without waiting. Churchill Road is so empty. You can go and get gas at a price you would never expect. Although where do you go to get your car filled? There's no reason. It's interesting, isn't it, what we're going through? The contradictions, the misunderstandings, the lack of patience. But nevertheless, we are in the midst of it, and we're called to make the most of it. Our Holy Father this morning called us to ban words forever, words like this: indifference, forgetfulness, self-centeredness, and division. He says that this is a perfect time for the entire world that has been embraced by this virus to come together and to look at what is important. When you watch the news, what do you hear? You only hear about the virus. All those things that consume news for so many days are gone away. It's not magical, it's just real. Because are they really important? And so perhaps we can ban these words forever. We can perhaps put aside our national and international rivalries. We can lay down our arms and use that money and that power and that goodness to take care of one another. That is the message of our Holy Father, a message we need to take to our hearts this Easter day. I must say the great joy for me is to look out at all of these pictures of you, our parishioners. We have pictures that represent so many different people, but truly represent our parish. There are those who are here with us every week. There are those who are here with us sometimes. There are those who come just for this day. But we love every one of you because you choose to be a part of us. I must say, all the smiles make all the difference in the world. And the best thing is, no one is late for Mass and no one is leaving early. We're actually able to celebrate a full Mass together. I hope that will become part of the new normal. Because I often wonder where everyone is rushing to that we can't stay to the very end and thank God. Why we have so many things that block us from being on time when we're coming to the house of the Lord in prayer. Perhaps a new normal for all of us. You know, so many of our young have been asking me the hard questions. We have to take some time as parents to listen and to the best of our ability answer those questions. So many of our young, reflecting back on the horrible tragedy of Sandy Hook, have shared with me that their parents were so caught up in their own confusion and grief that they never really talked to their children what was going on. Perhaps it was to protect them at that time, which is understandable. But these young people, very young people, are so exposed in this world today that they have real questions that need to be answered. And even though the answers may not always be exactly what they expect, we have to be able to be there and try. I hope we pay attention to the needs of our young. When we think about what they lived through the past 20 years with 9/11, with 12/14, with all of these incredible weathers that have come and caused such destruction, and now this, it's so hard for them to trust and to believe. This is also an opportunity for us as families to share this time we have. You know, we know how sacred time is, and yet we seem to overload our calendars with activities that really matter little in the end. We have no reason to fill our calendars now, except for one another. And our hearts have to be filled with the idea of what we really are all about. As Christians and as Americans, it's all about the common good, not the good of the few, or the loud, or the powerful. And so today, on this Easter day, when everything is made new, we have the opportunity to begin again, to walk in the footsteps of Jesus in a world that is afraid and scared and dying, to bring light, and to bring hope, and to bring the joy of this day. May this Easter be abundant in blessings for every one of you. And I, like all of my brothers here in the sanctuary, pray for your good health and protection during these days. For we truly look forward to that day when these pictures will be down and you will be sitting in those pews, smiling, on time, and not leaving early. What a perfect world it would be. God bless you, and happy Easter.